My name's Beth Henry, and I'm a retired lawyer from Charlotte. In my retirement, I've gotten very worried about climate change and my own children and grandchildren's future and all children's futures. And I've gotten very engaged on energy issues, mainly working on climate. I fought against the Cliffside coal plant, and I've worked almost full-time as a volunteer since then on energy. Nuclear energy is not a solution to climate change. It's a false solution that's being pushed by industry. I want to agree that the permit should be denied for many reasons, and I agree with the testimony of Clean Water for North Carolina. Once a month is not often enough to test for these pollutants, especially because we're going to get more and more extreme weather, heavy downpours, but then droughts. And so they need to be testing during these times of extreme weather. But the main reason I came was I wanted to tell y'all the Catawba River is ruined. The Union of Concerned Scientists put out a report last year. It's one of the most endangered rivers in the country, and it's because of all the water going for electricity generation. Some of the problem is from too much development, but the main problem is that so much of the water goes to Duke Energy. In fact, in North Carolina, almost 80% of our water withdrawals every day go for free to make electricities by these for-profit shareholder-owned electric utilities. My friend Donna Lisenby was the Catawba River Keeper, and she told me that she said to Jim Rogers, Duke CEO, if you try to put another power plant on the Catawba River, it's going to be World War III. So I guess they decided they'd go take a different river. So now they have Cliffside upstream, and now these two nuclear plants. Y'all do need to be paying attention to what's happening in North Carolina. There's a bill to make it easier to build reservoirs. I know of one that's being planned for the Cleveland County Water District, and I think more investigation needs to go into what other reservoirs are planned on this river. There are more droughts coming. People may argue about climate change, but there's no dispute among scientists anymore. We're in for much higher temperatures, much more droughts, but then when we do get rain, it'll be heavier. The other thing Jim Rogers said, we're going to have water shortages in North Carolina by 2030. So this is why the North Carolina legislature is rushing to let people build reservoirs. They know the water shortages are coming. So I didn't understand about the whole microscoping thing, and I do think that's a problem that nobody really takes responsibility for saying, for South Carolina, does this make any sense? It's divided up into such small microscopic pieces. But I do think it's smart for y'all to be looking at what else is going on the river. Like Mr. Zeller said, there are a lot of ways to generate electricity that don't take so much of our precious water. And with the shortages we know are coming, why aren't we choosing these other ways that don't take our water? There's a reason. These big centralized power plants are the business model that they can control. What if we all started making our own electricity with rooftop solar? Jim Rogers just said within the last 2 weeks that solar is an existential threat to Duke Energy. And so a lot is being done to make sure solar does not take off. But I would encourage all of y'all to really pay attention, not just to this plant, but to the whole energy picture, because it's so important for your state, for my state, and for our children and grandchildren. And I want to invite you, I'm trying to organize people to protest out in front of the Duke Energy shareholders meeting on May 2nd and let them know we want clean energy. We want energy that doesn't take our precious water. So I drove here from Charlotte tonight, and I want to invite y'all to drive to Charlotte on May 2nd at 10 o'clock if you can.